So I'm here with today with David Davis, and we're going to talk a little bit about his contribution to the symposium next year. David, you emphasize in your workshop, if I understand the title correctly, and the way you describe the workshop, that it is very important to you how a structural integration practitioner embodies the work and how he or she works on themselves in a kind of a daily routine nearly. Can you speak to that for a moment, why that is important for this work, that the practitioner does that?
Yeah, it's an interesting, it's a good question, and part of what I've noticed with a lot of practitioners, particularly from other schools, is that they don't seem to have a conscious awareness of where their head is in space and other things. And part of, our business is changing the proprioception so that we can start to come into an alignment in the field of gravity consciously and move in a more conscious manner. So that's our homework as practitioners is to be conscious and present. And for me, in my evolution of the practice and self is that I feel like the doing of the work is a whole body transmission from one system that's already in alignment into another that's not in alignment. And so that the touch is so much of the communication and application of the principles of structural integration in order to bring someone to a new state of conscious awareness in their own body. And we as practitioners, have to be, shall we say, aligned and on purpose with our principles, and that's part of what we deliver within the context of a session, is to bring somebody into a new state of balance and awareness, and how to embody that.
And so your workshop will be about how to teach or how to learn a daily practice, if you will, that you can come to that let's say to that state while you're working,
Yeah,
to transmit your inner sense of alignment to the other person.
right. And part of my exploration in the work right now is that I do a lot of work in a oblique set of angles rather than more direct, and so I'm really engaging currently, and shall we say, I have no scientific proof of this, what I'm about to say, but neither did Dr. Rolfe when she was saying all these things about fascia and other things that we are now finding out are absolutely true. Anyway, my own sense is that the superficial fascia is the medium of interface between interoception and exteroception. So, like the polyvagal theory is that, oh, it's the vagus nerve. But Peter Melchior used to say that the superficial fascia is the me and the not me. And so part of what we get to do is wake up the superficial fascial network, which is continuous through the system, to a new set of potentials that, among other things, come into alignment, but also, as you know, moving with greater freedom and balance. And one of the interesting things is we used to talk about youthening in the tissue, and the tissue, as it gets to be more fluidically moving and flowing, is an entirely different experience than what one has, shall we say, when they're in living a random body.
Excellent. This sounds like a really, really exciting project. I mean, I have similar experiences with superficial fascia as you. We tended all probably as practitioners to start thinking very, very deep, 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 deep. And the longer I work, the more feeling I'm working more and more superficial, 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 with the intent of being deep.
Yeah. Dr. Rolfe used to say, "Oh, you're not getting it," and since most of our students were men, I think we used to think, oh, I have to push harder
Right,
to get deeper,
right.
and not realizing that we had to be more sophisticated and working smarter, and the superficial layer being a continuum all the way into the bony skeleton itself is gives us a great latitude in how we get to deeper and deeper things. I'm playing with having people try to just, when I call for movement, okay, just move this bone,
Mm.
in the envelope, not the myofascia.
Right, right,
Okay,
right.
get in touch with this bone, and then feel the ripples of
Through the
change up
body.
through the network, and then go through the unwinding process, and then bring it into the vertical, because everything that happens on the table is extraordinary, but we have to bring it home in the vertical.
Which brings me to the next question. When we decided, when we talked about the group of main instructors at the symposium of how to come to a common title for the whole event, we decided on returning home. What does that mean to you, and what is the relation to your workshop to that statement, returning home?
Well, there's a multi-layered question, and
A lot to unpack, isn't it?
yeah, there's the level of the individual and the organism, and there's the level of we as a body, we practitioners coming together and with like-minded, like-bodied individuals, and I'm going to say resonating together long enough so that we can leave the seminar infused with a new memory, if you will, about how we as a body are working. But going back to the individual, coming home is getting more balanced in our system and being aware of it. And so changing the uh, taking ourselves out of unconscious holding patterns of compensation and bringing us into something more, as you again, more fluidic, where gravity actually supports us. This is such a revolutionary concept, and it was then, and it still is today. And so getting a body of people moving together in conscious alignment is a really interesting principle. And part of it, I think, currently is that part of what we do when we start to get more into alignment with the field of gravity is that it magnetizes the body so that it creates support up through the system as well as down into the system.
So you've been practicing this for what, 40 years? 50,
48.
48 years.
Yeah.
I've been practicing it for 32 years.
Yes.
And I can definitely speak to the fact that working on yourself definitely changes your life and gives it a direction.
Absolutely. I'm so blessed to have fallen into this work.
Yeah,
I was looking for this
yeah,
for a long time, but didn't know what this was
yeah.
that I
What
was looking
this
for.
exactly? We didn't know what this other thing that we were looking for was
Yeah,
until we suddenly stumbled on it nearly.
right, right. And so this work and being vertical and in balance is a conscious meditation, if you will, if we take it that far. And But that's the way it is for me. Is that I'm being conscious, aware, and present with how the body is moving in space, but also I'm feeling the field as well as the body. Where we people like to say, "Oh, I feel my field." I am the field, and so getting centered and present inside the field and the field of gravity is good medicine.
So I'm going to risk jumping to one last question. Um, if I remember correctly, in one of the last annual meetings, Dr. Rolf said to the then practitioners, I have started an experiment and you're it. We're nearly 50 years later now. What's the state of the experiment?
I think the experiment is alive and well with the European Guild. Um, and um, uh, and a lot of other, I'm going to say, schools that some started with practitioners from Rolf World, and others, are their own splinter organizations who didn't necessarily get the work, you know, didn't get the message delivered, shall we say, somatically, so that we have embodiment of the work. But you know, this symposium, it will be a gathering of like-minded and like-bodied people, and so that's and thank you, because this is a really important thing for we as a larger body to come home and resonate for a little while. But the work continues, and it's so much more than a lot of people want to take it into just technique. And it can be a technique. However, there's progressive layers of deepening within the context and the quality of the work that brings us back home in our own embodiment.
I think it's going to be a fantastic symposium with returning home with like-minded people, like you say. We have added some spice.
Oh, good.
I
I
mean, I
love
mean, John Sharkey is not an SI practitioner.
you're right.
So he may come from a very different angle and so challenge in some ways our assumptions and our way of working. And I'm really hoping that the challenge will bring out the best of us and take us a step further.
Yeah, well, there's that, and there may be cross fertilization.
There may be. I hope so. I
And
hope so.
and I believe there will be, because I don't know if he's hung out with a group of structural or a body of structural integrators before, so that's going to be stimulating in a very different way for him. In terms of, if you will, his somatic embodiment, as well as us getting some new intellectual information as well.
Great. Okay.
I'm
We'll
excited
see.
about.
Uh, next end of next May, beginning of June in Prague,
Yes, sir.
2026.
Yes,
Let's do
sir.
it.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you, David.
Thank you for doing this. It's I know that behind the scenes there's a tremendous amount of work that you and, I'm going to say, your team are doing, and I'm thanking you all now, and I'll thank you again when I see you in Prague, and probably thank you again before we get to Prague.
Okay. Well, looking forward to having you in Prague. Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing and being with you once again.
Okay. Ciao.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Yeah.